Jenny had eagerly anticipated her vacation for months, eagerly looking forward to booking an Airbnb in the serene countryside for a rejuvenating weekend escape. Being a self-professed city girl, the idea of immersing herself in nature for a few days filled her with exhilaration. The chosen Airbnb turned out to be a charming and cozy cabin nestled amidst a picturesque woodland. It perfectly matched her expectations, exuding a rustic charm and offering breathtaking views of the majestic mountains. The host, a helpful gentleman named Tom, proved to be instrumental during the booking process and even more so upon Jenny's arrival at the cabin. Tom graciously provided Jenny with a guided tour of the cabin, acquainting her with its features and functionalities. His friendly and hospitable nature was greatly appreciated, and Jenny was genuinely grateful for his assistance. However, as the weekend progressed, peculiar occurrences began to catch her attention. Curiously, Tom appeared to be present around the cabin far more frequently than he had initially indicated. Despite claiming to reside in a town an hour away, Jenny spotted his car parked outside the cabin on multiple occasions. Initially dismissing it as routine check-ins, she gradually started feeling intruded upon. Furthermore, the cabin itself didn't quite match her expectations. Mysterious noises emerged in the dead of night, emanating eerie creaks and groans seemingly originating from within the walls. Upon closer inspection, Jenny noticed peculiar details that were amiss: a weathered book on the shelf, an unstraightenable picture frame, and an unsettling sensation of being watched, even in Tom's absence. Attempting to set aside her unease, Jenny endeavored to enjoy her vacation, but the disconcerting incidents persisted. She couldn't shake off the persistent feeling of being observed, repeatedly expecting to spot Tom lurking in the shadows whenever she turned around. During the second night of her stay, Jenny was abruptly awakened by a loud and forceful pounding on the door. Her heart racing, she hastily jumped out of bed and rushed to the door. Yet, upon peering through the peephole, she found no one standing on the other side. Though she attempted to calm her racing heart and return to bed, an overpowering sense of someone or something attempting to gain entry to the cabin lingered. Jenny lay awake for hours, her senses attuned to the nocturnal symphony, until exhaustion finally claimed her and she succumbed to a fitful sleep. The following morning, Jenny made the decision to abbreviate her vacation abruptly. Feeling increasingly unsafe within the cabin's confines, she couldn't wait to depart. She promptly messaged her friend, recounting the entire unsettling ordeal and requesting immediate assistance. As she packed her belongings, she stumbled upon an unsettling discovery on the dresser: a discreetly placed camera, covertly aimed directly at her bed. Her heart raced as the realization struck that Tom had been surreptitiously monitoring her every move. Acting swiftly, she gathered her possessions and approached the front door, only to find it firmly locked from the outside. Repeated attempts to unlock it proved futile, intensifying her panic. Overwhelmed by anxiety, Jenny grasped the severity of the situation. Tom had deliberately trapped her inside the cabin. Urgency seized her as she hurried to the nearest window, peering out into the dense expanse of the surrounding forest, which revealed no discernible path or road. Determined to find an escape route, Jenny frantically searched for a phone or any tool that could shatter the window. However, her frantic efforts were interrupted by an ominous sound that sent shivers down her spine, footsteps drawing nearer to the cabin. With no other option, Jenny was compelled to hide, swiftly taking cover behind the couch. Her heart raced in her chest as the approaching footsteps grew louder and closer. The sound of jingling keys reached her ears, and she tensed up as the door slowly creaked open. Peering cautiously from her hiding spot, Jenny caught sight of Tom's silhouette in the doorway. He stepped inside the cabin, surveying the area as if on a search. Jenny held her breath, desperately hoping that he wouldn't discover her concealed location. However, as he turned towards the couch, she knew her luck was about to run out. Tom made his way towards the couch, his movements deliberate and measured. Jenny's heart pounded, her body trembling with fear as she struggled to remain still and silent. Suddenly, Tom halted right in front of the couch and lowered himself, peering behind it. Jenny shut her eyes, bracing herself for the worst. To her surprise, instead of finding her, Tom retrieved something from his pocket and headed towards the exit. Jenny watched with bated breath as he approached the door, placing a small object on the shelf. Seizing the opportunity, Jenny sprang from her hiding spot, sprinting towards the door in an attempt to catch him off guard. However, as she reached for the door handle, a sharp pain shot through her neck, and darkness engulfed her. When Jenny regained consciousness, she found herself lying on the cabin floor. Her attempts to move were met with heavy and unresponsive limbs. Struggling to open her eyes, she saw Tom looming over her, holding a syringe. "Welcome back," he uttered, his voice chillingly devoid of emotion. "I hope you enjoyed your little nap." Jenny's throat tightened as she tried to speak, realizing with horror that Tom had injected her with sleeping pills. "Don't fret," Tom continued with a cold, calculated tone. "You won't be awake for much longer. I have a special surprise in store for you." Her mind raced as she desperately sought an escape plan, but her weakened and sluggish body left her powerless. Tom crouched beside her, a twisted grin etching across his face. "You see, Jenny, I've been patiently waiting for someone like you. Someone young, healthy, and foolish enough to fall into my little trap." Despite her efforts, Jenny remained immobilized, completely at Tom's mercy. "You thought you were merely renting a cabin for the weekend," Tom taunted, "but little did you know, you were the centerpiece of my twisted game, a game I've been playing for years." Jenny's heart sank as the extent of Tom's depravity dawned upon her. She was merely another victim in his sick and deranged game. Yet, a glimmer of hope flickered. Faint tapping on the window caught her attention. Straining to see through the fogged glass, she spotted a figure outside, desperately waving. A police officer arrived in response to her friend's distress call. Jenny understood that she needed to hold on a bit longer, to remain conscious until the officer could rescue her. While Tom reveled in his apparent triumph, Jenny summoned every ounce of her strength to stay awake. She fervently prayed for the detective's arrival, hoping that it would thwart Tom's intentions of causing harm to anyone else. With one final burst of energy, she let out a piercing scream for help. The sound reverberated throughout the cabin, causing Tom's expression to shift abruptly from triumph to fear. In a dramatic turn of events, the door forcefully swung open, and the detective stormed in, brandishing a drawn gun. Tom attempted to escape, but he proved no match for the detective's swift reflexes. Jenny was carried out of the cabin, overwhelmed with a sense of relief washing over her. She was finally safe, knowing that Tom would never be able to harm anyone again. However, as she glanced back at the cabin, an icy chill ran down her spine. On the shelf where Tom had placed the small object, she noticed a minuscule camera aimed directly at her. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. Tom had been secretly recording everything, leaving her unsettled about the unknown number of victims who had come before her.